Hello, history buffs, time travelers, and scholars. History holds countless secrets, and some of its most unbelievable moments have been captured in hidden photographs. Otto Frank, the sole survivor of his family, revisited the secret annex where they had hidden during the Nazi occupation. Nurses in bomb shelters in France cared for soldiers during World War I in 1918, under extreme conditions between hospital wards. During World War II, gas masks were specially designed for babies to protect them during poison gas attacks. A lifeboat from the Titanic was photographed during the ship's sinking on April 15, 1912. The last known photo of the Titanic above water was taken in 1912, shortly before it sank after hitting an iceberg. The ENIAC, the first computer, was developed during World War II, marking the dawn of the digital age. The Tank Man became a symbol of resistance in 1989 when he stood in front of a column of tanks during the Tiananmen Square protests in Beijing. In 1989, the Berlin Wall was torn down after nearly 30 years of division. Crowds used tools to destroy it following the announcement that it was open. Wedding rings taken from Holocaust prisoners were melted down by the Nazis to extract the gold. Animals were used as part of medical therapy in 1956, showcasing the unique bond between humans and animals in healing practices. A photograph of Peter, a runaway slave, shows his back severely whipped, symbolizing the brutal reality of slavery in the United States. On August 14, 1945, a U.S. Navy sailor was photographed hugging and kissing a nurse in Times Square, New York, during victory over Japan Day. Joe Rosenthal's iconic photo from February 23, 1945, shows U.S. Marines raising the American flag atop Mount Suribachi in Iwo Jima. George S. Patton's dog, Willie, mourned on the day of the general's death. Patton was deeply attached to his bull terrier. Ivan Unger and Gladys Roy were photographed balancing and playing tennis on the wings of a biplane in flight in 1960. Laika, the first living creature sent into space, was aboard the Soviet spacecraft Sputnik 2, launched on November 3, 1957. The first photo of space was taken on October 24, 1946, by a camera mounted on a modified V-2 rocket launched by the U.S. at an altitude of 65 miles. If these pieces of history fascinated you, make sure to like and subscribe. There's always more to explore. On January 10, 1946, a Sikorsky R-5 Army helicopter flew over spectators in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Margaret Gibb was photographed receiving a kiss from her boyfriend, while her Siamese twin sister looked on in 1940. A 106-year-old Armenian woman was photographed guarding her house in 1990, showcasing resilience and strength. In 1981, Pablo Escobar and his son posed for a photo in front of the White House during the height of his dominance over the Medellin cartel. Simone Seguin, a French resistance fighter, joined the fight against German troops at just 18 years old during World War II. A 1920 photo from the Tour de France shows cyclists sharing and smoking cigarettes while riding, a stark contrast to modern sports. A knocker-up, someone hired to wake people before alarm clocks existed, was a common sight in the early 20th century. The cyclomer, an amphibious bicycle with metal floats, was designed for use on both land and water. Robert Wadlow, the tallest man ever recorded, was born in 1918 and reached a height of 8 feet 11 inches due to gigantism. Albert Einstein, photographed as a 3-year-old, later grew up to become one of the most brilliant minds in history. In 1878, the head of the Statue of Liberty was exhibited at the Paris World's Fair, drawing crowds and raising funds for Bartholdi's monumental project. Marilyn Monroe and Tom Ewell were captured on the set of The 7-Year Itch in 1955, during the iconic scene where Monroe's dress was famously lifted by a subway vent. Radio broadcasting gained popularity in the 1920s after advancements during World War I, with over 500 stations airing daily broadcasts by 1922. In 1964, the Beatles met Muhammad Ali in Miami, uniting two legends of 1960s pop culture. A photograph from 1965 shows Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, during his fight against Sonny Liston. Charles Ponzi, the man behind the infamous financial pyramid scheme that bears his name, is immortalized in a historic photo. A defining moment in technology occurred in 1997 when the Deep Blue computer defeated world chess champion Garry Kasparov. The 1980 Space Invaders World Championship featured a room packed with intense competitors. Maud Wagner, considered the first professional tattoo artist in the U.S., began her career in 1904, learning the art from her husband. The world's oldest photograph, taken by Nicephore Niepce in 1827, remains a historic breakthrough in visual documentation. In 1945, Soviet students gifted a carved seal to the U.S. ambassador, later discovered to house a hidden KGB espionage device. On August 9, 1918, a carrier pigeon was released from a British tank, playing a crucial role in World War I communications. Harriet Cole, a maid who donated her body to science in 1888, is remembered through the preserved nervous system that bears her name. A snapshot of 1955 London captures customers browsing a music store, reflecting the culture of the time. A photograph from the late 1930s shows a young Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama, shortly after being recognized as the reincarnation of the Tibetan spiritual leader. Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration on March 4, 1865, is immortalized in a historic photograph. A 1903 photo shows the Times building under construction, destined to become the heart of Times Square in New York. The Vought Sikorsky VS-300, the first successful experimental helicopter designed by Igor Sikorsky, took flight in 1939. A unique 1950s image captures Alfred Hitchcock serving tea to Leo, the iconic MGM lion, at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. A snapshot from 1960 showcases the elegance of first-class airplane cabins of the era. The real-life inspiration for Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin was photographed in 1927, bringing A.A. Milne's beloved characters to life. A gritty scene from 1888 shows bandits roost on Mulberry Street, reflecting New York's Lower East Side during the time. Albert Einstein was photographed at Nassau Point, Long Island, during the summer of 1939. A $1 bill from 1917 issued by the U.S. government is preserved in a historic photograph. Italian actor Charles Deburau is captured performing as Pierrot, a character from the traditional Commedia dell'arte. On the morning of September 3, 1967, Sweden switched its traffic direction from left to right, documented in a remarkable photo. A quirky 1963 invention, the television glasses, showcased early attempts at portable media consumption. Hand-drawn sketches by Galileo Galilei from 1610 illustrate his observations of the moon's phases, a monumental leap in astronomy. A dramatic photo from 1895 captures the famous train accident at Montparnasse Station in Paris. A woman in England pushes a gas-resistant stroller, reflecting the ingenuity and resilience of the World War II era. A 1939 photograph captures women in Montreal wearing plastic helmets to shield themselves from snowstorms, blending practicality and fashion. Elvis Presley, already a cultural icon, was photographed during his military service in 1958. The world's largest horse, recorded in 1928, astonished onlookers with its massive size, towering over other animals. The Goofy Bike, an unusual bicycle from 1939, was designed to make family rides a whimsical and eccentric experience. Into the Jaws of Death, a poignant photograph taken by Robert F. Sargent during D-Day in 1944, portrays soldiers landing on Omaha Beach. A historic image from 1896 shows three men competing in the marathon of the first modern Olympic Games held in Athens. Salvador Dali's haunting artwork, The Face of War, created in 1940, reflects the anxieties of World War II. President Richard Nixon is photographed on August 9, 1974, bidding farewell to White House staff following his resignation over the Watergate scandal. Martin Luther King Jr. is seen relaxing while playing pool in 1966, offering a glimpse of his personal side amidst his civil rights leadership. A festive photo from the 1920s showcases Americans celebrating Halloween with costumes and revelry. The propeller train, designed in 1929 by German engineer Franz Kruckenberg, showcases an innovative approach to high-speed rail travel. A 1905 photo of a horse diving event, possibly in Pueblo, Colorado, depicts a daring and unusual entertainment form of the era. The plague doctor attire from the 1600s, with its eerie beak-like masks, is captured in a historical photograph. A photograph of Albert Einstein's office at Princeton University, left untouched after his death, offers a glimpse into the workspace of one of history's greatest minds. Customers browsing a London music store in 1955 reflect the vibrant culture and evolving music scene of the mid-20th century. The first subway ride in London occurred in 1862 at the Edgware Road Station, marking the dawn of underground transit. A Man Flipping Through Books at the Grand Cincinnati Public Library, opened in 1874, evokes the charm of historical libraries. Dorothy Counts, the first African-American student to attend an all-white school in the U.S., is seen enduring ridicule from classmates in a 1957 photograph. In 1921, New York police disposed of seized alcohol under the supervision of Deputy Commissioner John A. Leach during Prohibition. Istanbul's 1960s nightlife included Küçük porters who carried intoxicated patrons home in large baskets. The vibrant energy of the Woodstock Festival in 1969 is captured in an iconic photograph of the massive crowd. In 1946, Romania, unconventional methods like using a bear to massage the back were employed to alleviate pain. The famous photograph from 1934 is considered the first recognized image of the Loch Ness Monster, sparking widespread curiosity and debate. The first underwater photograph, taken in 1899 by French biologist Louis Boutin, marked a milestone in underwater exploration. A 1920s photo shows a man measuring bathing suits to ensure they met length regulations. Those found too short incurred fines. Ham the chimpanzee, photographed in 1961, was the first monkey launched into space, playing a significant role in space exploration. A portrait of Abraham Lincoln in 1861 captures him at the start of his presidency, just as the U.S. faced the challenges of the Civil War. Another poignant image of Lincoln in 1865 shows him shortly before his assassination, after leading the nation through its most turbulent era. The discovery in 2008 of a Swiss watch-like artifact in a Ming Dynasty tomb sparked wild theories of time travel. A 1941 anti-British propaganda image ridiculed Winston Churchill, with a pejorative play on his initials as WC. Limited access to dentists in the 1920s saw families perform DIY dental care, an insight into past healthcare challenges. A full-face swimming mask from the 1920s, designed to protect women's skin from the sun, reflects the beauty standards of the time. On April 5, 1976, Ted Elsmark was attacked during a protest against school desegregation in Boston, becoming a symbol of racial tensions in the U.S. Earthrise, captured in 1968 by the Apollo 8 mission, provided the first view of Earth from the Moon, sparking a new era of environmental awareness. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow, infamous for their criminal activities during the Great Depression, are seen in a rare moment of relaxation, contributing to their iconic status in American history. Women painting propaganda posters in Port Washington, New York, on July 8, 1942, contributed to the U.S. wartime effort during World War II. In 1985, a young Xi Jinping visited San Francisco to study agricultural practices, reflecting an early stage of his political career. Women delivering ice cubes in 1918 during World War I highlight their crucial role in the workforce amid global conflict. A striking 1899 photo shows Nikola Tesla in his laboratory, standing beside his magnifying transmitter, epitomizing his genius. A police motorcycle with a sidecar-turned prison cell from the 1920s Los Angeles provided a unique solution for transporting detainees. Ruth Malcolmson, crowned Miss America in 1924, embodied the charm and aspirations of her era. Robert Cornelius's self-portrait from 1839 remains the first photographic selfie, a pioneering moment in photographic history. Coal miners ascending a coal mine elevator in the 1920s Belgium capture a glimpse of the industrial age's challenging labor conditions. United Nations soldiers aiding a North Korean soldier in reading a Time magazine during the Korean War. Armistice talks, 1950 to 1953, symbolizes humanity amidst conflict. Between 1907 and 1953, visitors at the Alligator Farm in Los Angeles could interact with trained crocodiles, creating a one-of-a-kind family attraction. Italian inventor Davide Cisi's one-wheel motorcycle, tested in 1933 France, showcased innovation in personal transportation. On January 10, 1946, a Sikorsky R-5 Army helicopter flew over spectators in Bridgeport, Connecticut, demonstrating early advancements in military aviation. In 1935, a worker observes the installation of the first cables of the Golden Gate Bridge, which was completed in 1937 as the largest suspension bridge in the world at that time. Annette Kellerman, a world-class swimmer, was arrested in 1907 at Revere Beach, Massachusetts, for wearing a one-piece swimsuit, a bold fashion choice for the time. The Migrant Mother, a famous photograph taken in 1936 by Dorothea Lange, shows Florence Owens Thompson, a mother of 7 children, struggling to make ends meet during the Great Depression. In 1932, an unknown man during the Great Depression exemplifies the hardship faced by many during that era. In 1965, Salvador Dalí is seen kissing Raquel Welch's hand after completing his iconic portrait of her, showcasing the surrealist's eccentric personality. The Terracotta Army, created to protect the tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang over 2,200 years ago, is believed to have originally featured vibrant colors, now faded with time. An old photograph shows a woman lying down with mysterious smoke coming out of her body, hinting at possible early medical experimentation or cultural practices. Dr. Cyr is seen examining a patient's spine with a pioneering metal brace to treat scoliosis, a groundbreaking medical technique during the time. In 1948, George McClenn, the first African-American student at the University of Oklahoma, was forced to sit apart from white students, a stark reminder of the segregation practices that persisted in the U.S. during this period. And that's a look at some of the most iconic and surprising moments in history. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories.